You've just read about benefits and drawbacks to having an approval process for your employees' appraisals. Now let's talk a little bit about how to use data from that process to help make things better within your organization. Here's an example. Many organizations ask their managers to complete certain tasks in a certain period of time. Appraisals are no different. And so you may say to your managers, we want to make sure that within 20 days, you've completed all of the routed items that get routed to you from the approval process. And when we talk in terms of routing, routing is the process by which an appraisal goes from one manager up to his manager, up to her manager, over to HR. So each time it transitions from one person to the next for review, we call that a routing path, or something has been routed. And so this is specifically about that routing process. In this case, we're able to see that a lot of our employees are pretty close to that 20-day mark, doing pretty well, but we have a couple of individuals, Doug and Jacob, who are causing us some problems. Now, one way to address that would be to go to Doug and go to Jacob and just complain about it and try to encourage them to speed up that process. If we're only looking at this one piece of data, that may be the logical thing to do to resolve the issue. But if we cross-reference that with some other information, we may get a more complete picture. In this case, we see that Doug is completing about 82% of his items, and Jacob is completing about 53%, but it's still taking them a long time. Over here, we'll see that Doug and Jacob are actually completing a lot of the total routed items that need to be completed. And so something is inconsistent about this data. So we may find that we want to sort this data and look at it in a more complete view, right? Right here, we're going to be able to see that Doug and Jacob, they actually have over 80 items routed to each of them. That's a lot of work. Their colleagues have less than 40, or have 46 or less rather. And so maybe what we do is we change the routing process only for Doug and Jacob. We don't have to make a universal change and shake things up across the whole company. Maybe we just make a couple of exceptions for Doug and Jacob to get their routed items down in this healthier range. So that's going to do a couple of things. It's going to, first of all, make our job in HR a little easier because our timelines will be met. But also, this is surely going to reduce the work and the headache and the stress that Doug and Jacob go through in trying to get this project done. So this can be a win-win scenario. But these types of things only happen when we look at complete information. If we look at partial information, we're going to miss out on some details that are important. So looking at the whole picture allows us to make better business decisions. And that is the power of advanced analytics within Performance Pro. Thanks for watching, and thanks for using Performance Pro.